Get ready for the action because Anthony Edwards' return from a bone bruise was the turning point in Game 1 as he helped the Timberwolves steal the road victory over the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama absolutely dominated with 12 blocks, setting a playoff record, and Edwards delivered 18 crucial points off the bench to fuel Minnesota's charge to a 104-1-2 win.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
But the narrative isn't over yet. Kendrick Perkins is changing his tune on the San Antonio Spurs after just one game against the Timberwolves, declaring that he no longer sees the Spurs winning this series, pointing to the Timberwolves' undeniable it factor. We dive into the tough decisions facing Stephon Castle as he might rack up 4 to 5 fouls every playoff game, balancing his defensive intensity against the need for flexibility, especially with Anthony Edwards ramping up his minutes. And the tension is building for Game 2. San Antonio needs massive adjustments to knot that series up 1-1 against the Timberwolves, so stick with us right now to see if Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs can pull off the comeback. The Minnesota Timberwolves secured a crucial road victory over the San Antonio Spurs in Game 1 of their second-round series, winning 104-102. The victory was significantly bolstered by Anthony Edwards' return from a bone bruise, who played 25 minutes off the bench and contributed 18 points, providing a vital emotional and offensive boost. Other key contributions came from Mike Conley, who hit 4 of 7 three-point attempts, and Julius Randle, who scored 21 points, including a clutch shot in the final minute. Defensively, the Timberwolves proved formidable, featuring a physical approach that disrupted the Spurs' offense. Victor Wembanyama was a standout performer, recording 12 blocks in the game, the most in a playoff game in 52 years. The team's physical defense also impacted De'Aaron Fox, who scored only 5 of 14 shots, resulting in a combined 21 points for the duo. Despite the Timberwolves' success, the Spurs had opportunities to challenge. Julian Champagny, who set a franchise record for made three-pointers this season, got a quality look at the game winner, though it ultimately fell short. The Spurs' overall shooting performance was underwhelming, with a 10 of 36 shooting percentage from three-point range. Minnesota's defense was characterized by intensity, evidenced by Wembanyama's 5 of 17 shooting and Fox's 5 of 14. Spurs coach Mitch Johnson acknowledged the defensive strength, stating, "They did what they do, they're physical, they guard the ball well." Minnesota's deep rotation also proved effective, with Jaden McDaniels contributing 16 points despite foul trouble, Terrence Shannon Jr. adding 16 points, and Naz Reid providing a dozen points off the bench. The game remained tightly contested throughout, with neither team leading by double digits, and both sides shooting below 42% overall, suggesting a potentially defensive series. Game 2 is scheduled to be played in San Antonio on Wednesday. Noi Dung Kai Tight. The San Antonio Spurs are facing a significant shift in perspective following their opening loss in the Western Conference semifinals against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Spurs suffered a 104-1-2 defeat in Game 1 on Monday, marking a turning point in their playoff journey. This setback has prompted former NBA player and ESPN analyst Kendrick Perkins to publicly change his prediction for the series outcome. During a recent appearance on First Take, Perkins admitted his earlier optimism regarding the Spurs winning the championship was misplaced. He stated, "I know I picked the San Antonio Spurs to win the championship, but I'm gonna say right now that I was wrong. And I'm gonna take all the heat that comes with it because they're not going to win this series. I know when a team has that it factor. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they got that it factor." Despite the loss, the Spurs still possess a path to contention. They are positioned as a potential contender against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the West. The team has demonstrated resilience as a road team, having swept both road games against the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round. However, the Timberwolves are entering the series with high confidence, bolstered by the return of Anthony Edwards from a knee injury sustained during the opening round against the Denver Nuggets. In Game 1, Spurs star Victor Wembanyama recorded a triple-double with 11 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 blocked shots, though his shooting efficiency was low at 5 of 17 from the field, including 0 three-point attempts. The focus now shifts to Game 2, scheduled for Wednesday, where the Spurs will aim to level the series before Minnesota takes control for Games 3 and 4. San Antonio Spurs star two-way guard, Stephon Castle, is facing a significant dilemma in the playoffs, potentially accumulating 4 to 5 fouls per game. The decision pits allowing Minnesota Timberwolves star players easier shots near the rim against missing the final minutes of every contest. Castle's situation became apparent after the Spurs lost Game 1 to the Timberwolves, where he accrued 17 points and 6 fouls in 28 minutes. Castle expressed frustration on Tuesday, acknowledging the difficulty of the situation. "It's frustrating," he stated, adding that while other teams play with similar physicality, the officiating sometimes does not favor the Spurs, though he cannot alter his defensive approach. As the Spurs' primary line of defense, Castle frequently confronts the NBA's top scorers. His decision to guard the ball all season means he has significant minutes against Timberwolves players like Jaden McDaniels and Julius Randle. Julian Champagny emphasized the increased intensity of playoff basketball, stating, "The game is called differently. It's called a lot more physical, which it should be. You've got to pick and choose your battles." Castle cited inconsistent calls as a factor in his foul trouble, noting that while he felt the opposing team was pushed off their spots, the calls against the Spurs were inconsistent. The Spurs were called for 3 more fouls than Minnesota, and Castle was the only Spur to exceed 4 fouls. Coach Mitch Johnson acknowledged the situation, stating that while there is wisdom in understanding foul trouble, the expectation is for Castle to maintain his high level of physicality. Johnson concluded decisively, "The way we want him to play, he's probably staring at 4 to 5 fouls every game in these playoffs." With Anthony Edwards ramping up off the bench, Castle's defensive responsibilities are shifting toward the Timberwolves star. Teammates remain confident in his ability. Castle confirmed he plans to maintain his current approach, stating that being coached by Johnson is part of his postseason commitment, and he cannot deviate significantly from his established style. He concluded by expressing concern about the Timberwolves' one-on-one scorers, noting that a lack of physicality against them puts the Spurs at a disadvantage, and hoping for more even officiating in the upcoming rounds. The San Antonio Spurs face a critical juncture as they look to tie the series at 1 game apiece in Game 2 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. In Game 1, Victor Wembanyama set an NBA record for most blocked shots in a playoff game with 12, but the Spurs ultimately fell short, losing 104-102 after Julian Champagny missed a potential game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer. The contest was characterized by intense defensive play. The Spurs struggled offensively, with no player scoring more than 18 points, while only one Timberwolves player surpassed the 20-point mark. Wembanyama, despite his defensive dominance, had an off night offensively, scoring 11 points on 5-17 shooting from the field and 0 from three-point range, though he secured his first career playoff triple-double with 11 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 blocks. Other Spurs players showed mixed results. De'Aaron Fox struggled with shooting, netting 10 points on 5-14 shooting and a -13 +-. Stephon Castle contributed 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists before fouling out. Dylan Harper emerged as a standout, scoring 18 points on 7-13 shooting, complemented by 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Julian Champagny also had a strong showing with 17 points and 8 rebounds, though he missed the decisive shot. For the Timberwolves, Julius Randle led the charge with 21 points and 10 rebounds, supported by Anthony Edwards, who tallied 18 points on 8-13 shooting off the bench. Solid contributions also came from Jaden McDaniels, 16 points, Terrence Shannon Jr. 16 points, Naz Reid 12 points and 9 rebounds, and Mike Conley 12 points. This series marks the Spurs' first playoff appearance in 7 years, contrasting with the Timberwolves' recent success, having made the Western Conference Finals 2 seasons in a row. Despite being undermanned in Game 1, Minnesota made necessary adjustments to secure the road victory. The focus now shifts to Game 2. Analysts are examining whether the poor shooting performances from Wembanyama and Fox were outliers or indicative of a trend. Questions remain regarding Anthony Edwards' readiness for Game 2 and whether Dylan Harper will see increased playing time. The Spurs have demonstrated resilience, having won their last home playoff loss by overcoming early adversity against the Trail Blazers. Game 2 is scheduled to be televised on ESPN at 8:30 p.m. CT Friday, with live audio available on WOAI 1200 and KXDN 1350. The matchup pits the Spurs against the Timberwolves, with injury reports being a key factor heading into the next contest.